Armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And Blue Dragon 5.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we find ourselves on the cusp of Disney's big venture into the world of streaming, even courting a war in the process, we thought it'd be nice to stay up to date on the ever-growing catalog and rule what's a must or a bust on Disney Plus.
Dear Plus.
Yeah. All right, so Dragon, tonight we are doing the Pixar Shorts edition of Disney Plus. We're going to wrap up what's available for Forky Asks a Question from what we haven't talked about yet. We're going to talk about the last Spark short, which is Loop, and or the latest Spark short, I should say. I don't know if it's the last one. And we're also going to, most importantly, talk about the Pixar kind of mid-quill Toy Story story called Lamp Life, about Bo Peep and her struggles and trials and tribulations during her time alone with the sheep, in between Toy Story 3 and Toy Story 4, essentially. And it's going to be a fun time. So, Dragon, I just want to dive in with kind of like a little bit of a, how are you enjoying Disney Plus? Or are you watching the back catalog at all? Like, are you watching any of the original programming? Of course, we recently talked about the short circuits from Walt Disney Studios Animation, which I honestly think are the highlight of Disney Plus this month out of all the new content that's come out.
Yeah, I've been enjoying it. I mean, I'll admit right now things have kind of, with the exception of the short circuit thing, which again really does need a better title, if we're being honest.
But it really does. I'm sorry, guys.
Every time we say it, I keep thinking Johnny Five and his misadventures and sequels with the Michael McKeans. But anyway, back on topic. No, the point is, I've been enjoying it. It's just kind of a dry spell because everything's wrapped up with Goldblum, with the Forky, with the Forky stuff. Mandalorian, of course. And right now, I've been kind of basically I've been binging a lot of Clone Wars. The 2008 Clone Wars series they got on there, getting ready for the new season, which is supposed to debut this month. I don't know if I'm probably not gonna make the deadline because I think it's like this week. So the point being, I'm watching all through. I'm kind of in the middle of it right now. So far so good, I guess. However, minor rant.
Oh boy!
Still baffles me why we're missing that one short within Short Circuit.
Yeah, that's weird. That's odd.
They're missing. I think it's Drop or Drops. It's about raindrops. We're missing that one, and it bothers me. Darn it! And it's like you can find the image of it, which again now we have that awesome thumbnail with it on there, but we didn't talk about it because it wasn't there.
Right.
It makes us look silly. 14 little shorts, we talked about 13 of them.
All right. Anyways, we've got Claude Karinga in the comments here. Claude. I'm going to start with a simpler question first. He says, "Do you guys know about the upcoming Monsters at Work series?" Yeah, I do, Claude. I'm cautiously optimistic about it.
Looking forward.
Yeah. And then the big question, Dragon, we got to spend at least a couple minutes talking about this, man, because I don't think it can wait for a memoirs. Did you guys see the big game Disney Plus trailers? Oh, boy. So I assume he's talking Marvel, Dragon.
Well, I know what he's talking about. I know. Did you see it?
Oh, yes, I did. Yes, I did.
I did too, and I was so happy with it. Oh, they did. One of my bucket list things was done. I never even. I just wanted a little bit of it, but they want the full 9 yards with it, man. With the WandaVision stuff, man. WandaVision.
The WandaVision stuff looks incredible.
It does.
WandaVision is like, that might be my most anticipated show.
And we're getting it early, man. We're getting it after. We're getting it this year, man. A whole year earlier.
I mean, just that show just looks so ambitious and so just clever and dry, and I'm really excited for it.
We got the headband, man. That's all I ever wanted with Scarlet Witch, that and more. Even beyond the small potatoes, like, oh, she finally got the headband. One, they pull her in the full outfit, but two, like, they're doing every WandaVision thing you could ever want them to do, like reaching back all the way to like the famous miniseries. I'm talking like, oh, like what if they had kids? What if they did all this sort of stuff? It looks phenomenal. But even beyond that, man, just oh my God, they're the Falcon Winter Soldier stuff too. That was very
Falcon and
impressive.
Winter Soldier stuff. All I can say about that is that it straight up looks like the movies.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, okay, like we're blurring the lines. Like this is essentially a 10-hour movie or however many
Probably
episodes.
6 hour. I think.
Okay,
But,
so it's essentially a 6-hour movie at this point, Dragon. That's how I'm going to view Falcon and Winter Soldier, essentially.
so obviously, so this year I'm very excited to see him kind of start the MCU kind of wagon big with Falcon Winter Soldier and WandaVision. We're going to start things off right with Disney Plus, and this is like how do we hold ourselves? How hold people over until Mandalorian comes back? Hit him with some Marvel awesomeness. Yes. Oh, it's gonna be cool.
Okay, Dragon, I will say I have been enjoying the back catalog. I actually just rewatched Inside Out over the weekend, so that was something. So yeah, it's nice to have those movies to go back to just on a whim if you feel like it. And I will say, Dragon, approaching 30, man, Inside Out just hits you more and more the older you get. All right. Anyways, so on to the shorts themselves. Oh God. Okay. One more, Claude. All right. We got an agenda. We got an agenda here. The Mulan remake trailer, Dragon. What do you think of that?
I didn't watch it.
Really? Did you like step out of the room or what?
Well, remember, T, I wasn't just watching the Super Bowl for the commercials because it was, you know, I heard about the trailers that the commercials and the trailers that kind of really water, but I kind of looked at them directly, which is how I found just purely what I was looking for with the big Marvel Disney Plus stuff and so on. Bryan Cranston with his Mountain Dew shenanigans and so on and so forth. Everything else was
Cranston with the Mountain Dew is amazing.
That's what I'm saying. I was looking purely for the good stuff because if I had the Super Bowl, I'd be literally just waiting for the commercials, and it sounds kind of sad.
Man at the funeral of Mr. Peanut.
That was interesting, but my point, you see my point. So, I don't. So basically, because of that, I didn't get a full view of everything. I think I heard about the Mulan trailer. Okay. I hadn't looked into it yet. I mean, Tika, did you watch it?
Yeah, and I have to say, Mulan, it looks interesting. It looks different. It looks different. That's the best I can say about it.
I just have one question.
Yeah.
Any Mushu yet?
Dragon, I'm sorry, there's not going to be any Mushu, and there's also not going to be any I'll make a man out of you, and those are my two favorite things.
Well, I know about movie. The man. I know about the whole, we'll make a man out of you being like being.
I don't think there's going to be any Mushu, man.
Baseball deal, has that been confirmed, or are we just assuming there's going to be?
I'm pretty sure it's been confirmed.
Okay, well, yeah, that's a bummer.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. All right. But the movie does look different, and in the wake of The Lion King, that's kind of what we need right now with some of these remakes, I think. So they're
really trying to get me to watch Lion King on Disney Plus because he keeps throwing in my face with that banner, the new Lion King. I'm just like, okay, nope.
Are you ever going to do it?
Live action Lion King, no. Aladdin, maybe.
Oh, Aladdin's fun. I'd be interested in your take.
I'm genuinely weighing Aladdin, but I would. I don't know. I'd probably not though. But I know I'm not going to do Lion King just on principle.
On principle. All right. Okay, so Dragon, let's start with Lamp Life. Of course, I'm going to let you take the lead on this one, Buckaroo.
I was very excited to get the Lamp Life. I really was because I remember they were hyping this one up when they kind of announced some of the short Toy Story stuff they were going to be doing after Forky asked a question and they kind of teased this up, and this seemed like a really great pitch of let's see what Bo. Basically, we're going to fill in the blanks of what Bo Peep was doing from kind of the last time we saw her in Toy Story 2, and basically the opening of the amazing opening of Toy Story 4 to the events of when we reconnect with her later in Toy Story 4. So again, kind of a really great story there, and many people are saying well, we still want to know what happened. And of course, knowing this, oh yeah, they're going to do a little short film about it. I'm easing back in my chair, okay, guys, just hold on. I'm like Woody from the first Toy Story when they're all oh god, the army men are out there. Guys, they're professionals. They're not lying down the job. They're fine. They're gonna get it done, and I was right. They did get it done. So this was directed by Valerie Lapointe.
This is kind of like the El Camino of Toy Story.
In a sense, yeah, it is kind of El Camino. It is, not to the extent of like a 2-hour movie.
Well, no, of course, but it's all right. It's like the nice little cherry on top.
Yeah, but seriously, this is like in Pixar. We've seen sorts of things like this. A little bit more like we link up with things a little more like a Jack Attack or like a Bernie, so to speak. We've kind of had events that happen within the universes of the movies. This is more of like completely untapped material. Like, okay, what happened from point A to point B? We mentioned, but she was in the antique shop. How'd she get out? All that sort of stuff. So, really interesting thing. This was directed and written by Valerie Lapointe. Now, she was a writer on. She was one of the many writers on Toy Story 4. So, I like that we're really drawing from the source on that one. So, we literally got like as good as you're going to get it with like a shortened connection to the piece.
Uh-huh.
So, cleverly, I love that this is cleverly framed after Woody. By the way, not Tom Hanks. I don't know if you noticed this.
No, it's not Hanks, really?
No, it's Jim Hanks. See, fun fact: when Tom Hanks doesn't feel like doing what usually in commercials and promotional stuff, or sometimes the toys. I assume there's probably a royalty thing with the toys, which is why they don't always go out to Tom Hanks. I don't know if he's ever done it for the toy. I think maybe once.
Wow.
But
I gotta
honestly,
tell you, you could have fooled me on this. You really could have.
I'm pretty sure Tom Hanks has never done the actual recording for Woody as the toy. Basically for like when they do the merchandise. But I could be. There might have been only one exception. My point is, Jim Hanks, basically whenever you do a parody of Tom Hanks on Robot Chicken, or so whenever you hear Woody on Robot Chicken, or you hear like any Tom Hanks character, like a Forrest Gump or anything, it's always going to be Jim Hanks doing a really good impression of his brother. So we kind of had that here as Woody, but again, I think gets even better with it with times. This one is complete. It was very flawless, though. I will give it that, but it's Jim Hanks.
So first of all, I want to acknowledge that I love how like this to me is like I'm sorry, like I do like The Incredibles 2 starting right where they left off. I know I've thrown a lot of shit The Incredibles 2's way, but starting right there where they left off. But this is like even more so, man. This is like literally like exactly after, like I feel like the way that this starts is like immediately after the whole like To Infinity and Beyond of it all dragon.
It is it's amazing. we have two very flawless link ups here. Okay, up to the end of the movie where basically they're bouncing around. Now there's kind of at the end after and when they're kind of reflecting, this is what I'm saying. So Woody, I love that. Basically, like, what's the first thing? So Woody's answering like, what happened in Toy Story? Basically, he recaps Toy Story 3 for both people. The giant claws say basically the emotional high points of Toy Story 3, which I love. And that kind of spawns, like, it kind of sparks the like, okay, well, that's your Bo story now. What happened to you like all this time here? Like, why don't you fill us in, Bo? And then of course we link up with, okay, what happened after the amazing, opening of Toy Story 4? Well, again, she went to that guy.
RT.
Yes, after that,
we had to do that once.
Of course. So of course after that we see her with kind of her new owner, with the man who bought the lamp for his daughter.
That sounds like a French film that got snubbed for best foreign film at the Oscars. Dragon. I'm sorry. Anyway. But no, in all seriousness, I do like this whole segment of her being in the bedroom and trying to sneak in playtime, even though she's an antique. And then, of course, the baby crying. Like the sound design on the crying dragon, I must say that is rather effective at just getting under your skin.
It is. So I want to kind of plant some flags here, some important flags. So what's great is the story that we get here is very honest in many respects, but also it's a little heightened for the comedy of it as well. And again, we have like a great out for that at the end too, with the whole was all that really happened? Yeah, mostly. Again, the mostly being
more or less.
Again, the more or less essentially is that's why we get the comedy that we get in this. Where like her hair, basically her hat catches on fire, which may or may not, it probably happened, but maybe not to that extent where like the alarms and everything going off simultaneously. I don't know. Yeah, that's the thing. There's some slightly heightened things, more so towards the back end when we have like giant like laser grids and everything. Probably a little heightened.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. The point is, I think we get the comedy we get in this because of that heightened little kind of proviso. But seriously, though, with the emotional. With the really great content, this is that one, Pixar knows how to tell a great story with lamps. They always have. They built the business. They built the logo on it. Let's say if anyone knows how to do a short about lamps, it's Pixar. But this is the thing: we get to see territory Bo Peep explore that I really love that we went here. That we see how lucky Bo was in her life that she ended up with Andy initially, because again, we have kind of those two competing purposes, lamp and toy, where the dueling purpose of she is a utilitarian item. She's a lamp. She's a figurine attached to a lamp. That's what she is. Porcelain figurine, not designed for playtime. But again, she has the charm of a toy. She's really well crafted. Again, she has like a detachable base, so she has like she's built in for a toy. But again, not quite for babies. But also, again, that's why she was in Molly's room just purely as a lamp. But again, Andy kind of saw use with her there as the damsel in distress
Right,
role.
Dragon. I'm getting into like all these like quasi-religious theories and metaphors that I could bore you with, but I'm going to spare you.
But you
But
see what I'm
seriously,
saying?
man, this is the deep stuff, and this is, of course, why we love Toy Story, or at least a reason why I love Toy
And
Story.
I love that all of that is there, but also it's quite funny at the same time. And again,
Right, right, right.
it's an honest portrayal. And with the thing you were speaking with the crying baby and everything, which is skin crawling, I
uh,
love that we get to see kind of like a little bit of the toys. Again, we've always had kind of the allegories of the toys. Essentially, our parents or caregivers to the kids that they're assigned to. It's always been kind of the thing we've been rolling with ever since with Woody and so on and so forth. Also with Bo Peep, we kind of have an analysis on parenting styles. With we have like the running gag of like they have to self-soothe or have to cry it out, let them cry it out. And again,
right,
like
right.
maybe the Bo Peep just kind of disagreeing with that a little bit. She jumps in the drawer like, "Oh God, this is horrible." But that's what I'm saying. I love
I
that
gotta
throughout.
say, those kids probably aren't gonna have the best the best relationship moving into their teen years, man. I think they're prone to some sibling firecrackers, going
Quite,
forward.
quite possibly, quite
They are not raised in a healthy environment, Draken.
entirely possible. That's what I'm saying. It's entirely possible.
It's kind
And
of like a Sid Phillips thing, actually.
yeah, a little bit. And Sid
I
seemed to
mean,
be well.
not as dark as Sid's home life, but still kind of like you get the sense that this kid's home life or these kids are like, the new wave parents who are like, all right, just let them cry it out, and it's like that Dragon that's not going to lead to good things, especially later in life. I don't know. I'm looking too
Yeah,
deep into this, but
yeah.
still.
Okay, well, back to like kind of the things we can just like that. We're reading into some stuff there, but here's the stuff that we do know. So what's really great within the opening, kind of the sequence of she's with the initial guy who bought the lamp and his kids, and I like how the progression, the work of the editing and the time on this is really great because we see time progress. Like again, he starts off with a baby, and then of course he has like two kids as we spring forward. And then of course we then go to various different owners. But I like that we also see the wear and tear on Bo Peep. We kind of answer some of the visual, almost like a visual mystery that we have. Like how did Bo Peep end up is kind of like the more kind of like action ready Bo Peep that she is, like kind of the repurposed skirt and everything is like a cape,
Right, right, right.
and
Yeah.
like, we have like her crook got broken, like and the how she lost her hat because it got caught on fire because the kid screwed in the wrong bulb in the lamp. That sort of
Sure,
stuff. So
sure.
again, it's nice seeing kind of the wear and tear there, and again, my heart goes out to Bo Peep throughout this whole thing. I felt so much great sympathy for Bo Peep, and what I really gleaned from all of this, through like this montage after like she's kind of passed, then basically it's like this is a baby lamp, let's get rid of it. And then of course she ends up going to like probably going from I assume the guy who ended up having her basically kind of gave her to other friends who were about to have babies and stuff, and that kind of led to one owner to the next, to eventually like
Oh
when
man,
like
and this is another thing where I kind of got the sense that some of it's a little bit heightened. Like especially like her being on the ship and
yeah,
stuff
that
like that.
exactly heightened a little
You
bit. Like
know.
she's probably been like some like lighting some cold rooms, but let's be honest,
Right,
she's not gonna like
right, right.
instantly
It's like
freezing.
okay, like this is a little much, Bo.
Exactly, but
Like
still though,
you're not a world traveler.
the important thing I really got from this, from the emotional crux of her character, again throughout a lot of comedy within bits like that, though, is that it really explains how she's over ownership by Toy Story 4. Because remember, she's over owner. She's more like freewheel, and she's a lost toy. And we see how she got there. She got from like again, like she's been through a lot of. Again, she's basically in the day they were living now. It's like like it's a baby lamp, man. Let's get that out of there. The lamp is just kind of like not showing the due respect it is. Because again, she was in such a unique situation, and she just keeps getting bounced from owner to owner. It just seems like such a fruitless thing anymore for her. Like what's the point of being attached to a kid if I'm just gonna be handed over from one to another to them. I'm ended up with college kids to I'm ended up in moths are flying towards me. I'm in donation boxes. I'm on boats possibly. All this is happening. So I love just seeing how I think we answered kind of the mystery of how her character got from one place to another without like it wasn't anything we were missing from Toy Story 4, but it kind of helps. It fills in some extra pieces, which is nice.
Yeah, for sure.
Of course, in the antique store, I love the dust animation, like how we glued her down, like all that sort of like this sort of thing. Again, it makes it even worse for oh god, she's glued in place, almost like a Lego collector. man,
Yeah,
she's
and again, these are just kind of like details that you don't really think about, but it definitely adds to it. Now, you mentioned before, like, kind of the Great Escape, like she's kind of got a mini Toy Story 3 going on, where she's like, trying to escape the antique store. And this is obviously one of those things that it's like, of course we get the Woody cutaway, like, wait a minute, there wasn't a security system at the antique store. Yeah, there wasn't, but there
because she.
used to be.
And again, take it with a grain of salt, because again, it looks a little like the fact that she can cause like a big explosion with like the little, with like screwing the wrong bulb in the lamp. Highly unlikely. I think the idea she short. I think the practical notion is maybe there was a security system and she shorted it out with the bulb thing, and then she was able to get out there. I don't think she blew a hole in the thing. I doubt that.
Mm.
And that, again, like helicopters showing up, I doubt that too. I mean,
right.
like that's what I'm saying. Like maybe a fire engine, maybe, but again, we didn't see that. So that's what I'm saying. Like we're definitely a heightened quality, but it fills overall the short. It fills in the blanks quite nicely. It's funny, funny with a great rationale for like how we could be as funny as we're. But also again, I like that we didn't just walk away with like, okay, this was. It wasn't just like, oh, the shenanigans Bo Peep got into. It was like the shenanigans, but also, okay, this explains how she got from point A to point B, being the adventurer she is now. This is quite fun. She had her share of adventures in the interim, which is quite nice.
Uh-huh.
At points, it was quite fulfilling, and I was very satisfied. I thought it was great.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty good too. I don't know. Maybe it's interesting, Dragon. I wasn't expecting the fantastical quality to it. Honestly, I was expecting maybe something that had a little bit more heft to it. Although it did get into it with the heft in some spots. With like we did kind of manage to pull a meaning of life conversation out of this. So that's got to count for something, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think they had their cake and they ate it too. Or again, they didn't have to go just all one way, because I think the opening of Toy Story 4 got that enough for them. Okay, we're okay. We've emotionally shattered everybody with Hold On, RC. I think we're all good there. I think we can.
Right. Hey there, Inhuman Quake in the comments. Nice to see you. He says, Lamp Life I enjoy. I glad it was in between Toy Stories 3 and 4.
Yeah.
And yeah. Good placement in the timeline there. All right, Dragon. Moving on. Oh Jesus, this is another one that's Dragon. I don't know if you can believe it, but this was even harder for me to watch than the other one that's directly centered around autism.
Right.
Yeah, Float.
Which, by the way, I still think nothing against Kit Bull. I'm still rooting for Kit Bull, but again, Float probably should have been the one nominated for for a best short at the Oscars this year.
Dragon, okay. I'm just gonna get kind of personal here, Dragon, but the way that this girl is, yeah, Dragon, this is my little brother. I mean, it's just like the symptoms, the speaking patterns, the reactions, kind of the withdrawn nature. This is nonverbal autism, my friend. I mean, just not even it's just not even a question. This is powerful stuff, man. And of course, this very much reminds me of my own struggles with trying to communicate with my brother, who now I have an awesome relationship on a very nonverbal level, but we really get each other. And, I can talk to him verbally and I get what he's saying non-verbally. But, man, this kind of stuff is hard work, and this short illustrates that very well. Before you give your thoughts, Dragon, really quick, we have a comment from Inhuman Quake. He says, "Would it be weird to make Bo Peep's animated series for Disney Plus? What do you think, Dragon?"
Well, I don't know if he's just speculating. What if they made a Bo Peep series? I'd be down for it, man. I wonder if they're going to keep it computer animated though, because this had this is like an example of when they know something going into it. Like they're probably using the same models and everything. Therefore, they're not. Pixar hasn't had to make something from scratch for animation before in like an animated series. Like for example, Buzz Lightyear Starkman, obviously it's a 2D series. It's not exactly directly Pixar doing that one. where, for example, like a DreamWorks series, when they take their movies into series, they have to, work with like a reduced budget, and they have to, kind of craft the models from scratch and go on. Where then you have like the risk of a decline in quality. But something like How to Train Your Dragons on Netflix, quality maintained itself, and it was quite good. Something like Kung Fu Panda, though, it's a little lesson, but still okay. And then you go down the line like a Monsters versus Aliens, where there's definitely a big differential on that one. So I'd be for it. And with Disney Plus money, I think they can probably maintain that. It's a question if it would be 2D or 3D animated. Which either way, I think they could still mine something from that. I'm sure Annie Potts would still be attached. So I'm definitely down for that series. But the real question is, would it be like Bo Peep post Toy Story 4? Because then we'd have to introduce Woody in the mix, and that's where we get into. It would have to be Jim Hanks in the role. So I mean, I'd be down for it.
I would honestly be down for post Toy Story 4. My only amendum to that, Dragon, my only amendum is I really do not want to see the two gangs interact with each other again in the Toy Story universe. There cannot be a reunion.
Well, of course not. That's the thing. It would be pure like you had your Woody played by Jim Hanks. You had Bo Peep. You'd have basically probably Duke Kaboom's probably the biggest you're going to get with that.
Marcelo, sorry, I do know places, but I don't want to say them on air, my friend. Sorry about that. But yeah, Disney Plus is the way to go for Lamp Life. Honestly, if you Google Lamp Life stream, I don't know, you might be able to find something. That's my best.
That's all the detail we're going to be able to go through legally.
Yeah. All right, Dragon. So, yeah, your thoughts on Loop, my friend.
So yes, Loop. So this was done by Erica Milsom. Basically, the idea of this one was they kind of took like kind of the isolation of kind of canoeing and kind of its being kind of a teamwork cell. And like, what if we took people with very differing characters, which of course led to okay, what if we had someone who's kind of a nonverbal, someone with a nonverbal condition, and we had somebody, we have somebody who's kind of chatty, but kind of put them together and see what happens there, which kind of led to really interesting results. I think this short. It's very ambitious in tackling a very, very kind of an underrepresented things. We wanted to really underdone territory very directly, and I thought that was really ambitious, but perhaps maybe a little to its detriment, because I think this is solid. No question, this is solid, but it's not as great as the other 5 shorts. No question to me, it really isn't.
Ooh.
I'm gonna tell you why. Here's why.
I can't sign off on that just because it hits so hard for me personally. You understand that, right?
No, it is good. I'm just saying I don't think it's as good as the other 5, and I think I know why. Here's the thing that was lacking that the other 5 had, is that I'm not given quite the ride of an experience that I am with the other 5, but more so what I'm given here is an experience of characterization, which is good, just different than what we had with the other 5 shorts, where the other 5 shorts are like you're along for the ride and you're just going kind of progressively, beat by beat by beat, and something happens each beat. We're okay. We meet Pearl, and right. We go through her work day, and then we kind of learn something about her along the way. And again, like that's one stationary character, but again, things are happening, and we're kind of evaluating her by the events of the day. And you take something like Kit Bull. It's again the interaction of 2 characters, but again, it's not purely just like these 2 characters. They're very stationary, and they're basically not a lot happens, and we're just living with the characters. But that's not a problem with it necessarily. It's just a different approach, which I don't feel resonated with me as much as the other 5 did. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I hear you.
Like what I love about this one, I love how it showcases perspective. I love how it showcases POV. Like we see Renee's POV and we see the sensitivity to sound very well. And I love that. Like,
very realistic.
And the way
they did their research, man.
They did. They can actually they brought in the guys who run the foundation. There's this guy. There's some darn blanket on the name. The point being, they went to the go-to guys on basically make sure they were representing everything very well, and of course they had the actress who portrayed Renee, Madison Bandy, I think her name was Madison Bandy, a girl with actual nonverbal autism.
Oh man, yeah, I can tell. I can tell that it was legit Dragon.
What's
Oh
interesting
man,
though is what happened to you when they recorded her. They brought
Jesus.
so initially what they did is they brought her to Pixar, which was a
Hmm.
mistake. They brought her to Pixar, it was a little overstimulating. So what they did is
Very overstimulating, I can imagine.
so
Yeah.
they went to her. So they went to her house and just kind of followed her around. And basically, they kind of like got the basically they got the performance that way. Kind of kept her
Oh,
comfortable and
nice, nice. I can see how that would work.
like if she
Yeah,
were walking
yeah,
down the street, she'd be kind of be followed with some like equipment, if like it was kind of like an on the go sort of thing. So yeah, they really
sure.
they cut. My point is they covered all their bases very well with this. So that's what I'm saying. I
So,
really I
Dragon,
do.
like I said, for me personally, living with a sibling who has nonverbal autism, I there's no way I can say this is the worst one or my least favorite one because man, it's towards the top just for that, just for me personally. But obviously, I've got a huge, gigantic, very personal bias here in this race.
Sure. I mean, I guess what I'm saying, for example, you take Loop and you take something like Float. Float, there's a little bit more of a story crux to
Flow
it that I
is
can,
better. I will agree.
and that's
Float
what
out
I'm
of the two
saying.
of them,
I think
yeah.
I can gravitate. Well, no pun intended. I can gravitate towards Float because there's a little bit more of like kind of a story crux and a
This is
payoff.
way
Where
more raw and real
yeah,
than Float is,
but
though.
that's
And
what I'm
and,
saying. I am enamored by
and
how
that's
Loop.
saying something too, because
Yeah,
Float is very raw.
it is, but that's what I'm saying. Like Loop is really ambitious and more of an experimental, like unexplored territory sort of thing, which I want to see
Uh-huh.
where we go with short plays. I think now we're starting to cover the ground. I want to see the ground have a little bit more story
I
applied
mean,
to it. And
autism is definitely a running
yeah,
theme in these Spark shorts, and I find that fascinating.
which is interesting, and I feel like so, again, I don't know what order they which these were legitimately produced because I think they put them out in a certain order. I don't think necessarily because again they're all given 6 months to gestate and kind of complete themselves. I don't know if Loop
Uh-huh.
is literally the last one in production or not. I don't know if they've aired them up in production order, but my point is it'd be interesting if like they did something like this first, and then by the time they get the float, perhaps like they've had a little bit of like okay now we're. But again, these are different crews working on these, so I'm speculating if there's like an influence between the shorts or not. Point being though it is really ambitious in all the right ways. This is a good short, just not necessarily as good as Float.
All right. So
Oh wait a
Dragon.
minute, Claude has blown my mind with something here.
Oh yeah,
Claude
Monsters
said
at Work. Yeah.
I
The
could have sworn it
3D
was going to be
animated.
2D animated. I guess it's just the production artwork I've been seeing, but that's good to hear. I'll see how that goes. I think it should be good. I think that'll be a big bearing on like where they could go in the future with these shows if it's going to be 3D animated. So we'll see how that goes.
So Dragon, what is the meaning of life?
What's Mark Hamill doing right now?
Was it a mistake to not book a fast pass for Slinky Dog Dash?
I wonder why Vera Farmiga doesn't get invited to the Oscars.
Forky asks a question.
Yeah, I don't know if this bit's gonna work, man.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh, okay,
I don't
so
know if this bit's gonna work. Maybe not the asking the questions thing, Dragon, but I do like the I don't know.
yeah, the I don't know. That I don't know is great. It's just the lead up to that. Okay, point being, sorry. Where's research and
I
development?
don't know.
Anyway, so as you probably guessed, we're talking about Forky Ask Questions. So last we checked, we have 2 left. So basically, the 2 that have aired since we talked about them when they were coming out concurrently with Mandalorian. So now we have what is cheese?
Really quick, just to kind of transition away from the Spark Shorts. Inhuman Quake says his favorite original Disney Plus short was Pearl, which Inhuman Quake, by the way, we recapped that back in the channel archives. You can search the channel and find that.
I love Pearl though. Pearl is another great one.
Pearl's very good. And also, he says Loop was hard to watch because it was emotionally raw, which I agree with. And Float deserves an Oscar, which I also agree with all due respect to Kitbull, of course.
One more Spark Short thing, just a little side note. There's some news that broke recently. They're going to do a documentary. I don't know how extensive that means. It might just be like a cute, like little like how they did it documentary, but they're going to do a Spark Shorts documentary on Disney Plus. I'd like to think it's an extensive, awesome one, but it might just be like a little like informational one, which could
like a Leslie Iwerks one.
Oh god, again, like more of like not like a 6-part series, mind you, but more of like just like one that covers the 6-part series.
Sure.
Anyway, but yeah, good for that. I'll be very eager to watch that one. Anyway, I really hope they get into the whole the whole 6 months deadline thing, because that'd be really cool to see them just kind of propose that challenge. Because they're gonna points are highlighting the kind of the new guys we have working on these shorts. Anyway, so yes, back to Forky. Okay, so what is cheese?
What is cheese? So we get Jeff Garlin as Buttercup, and this is probably the most screen time that Buttercup's gotten in a single thing since he's been introduced, and I love it.
So this short.
Granted, he did have the runner with the whole is Dad gonna go to jail in Toy Story 4, and that was great. But now he just really gets to take center stage, Dragon.
So let me ask you this: did you think this should have been the finale?
Honestly, I think it could have been. Yeah, I do, because honestly, with the other one we're going to talk about, it's fine, but I don't really think it's one that's kind of worthy to go out on. And this one is worthy to go out on, man. This one just feels like this one feels like it's tying together a lot of the plot threads.
Yeah, but by the way, so Jeff Garlin, he rocks, man. I've Jeff Garlin just on the Goldbergs, on Curb Your Enthusiasm, on his comedy special on Netflix. Just Garlin.
He's been on podcast The Ride a few times.
Nice. That's what I'm saying. Just Jeff Garlin can do no wrong in this world, man. He's just been great. Anyway, so of course, I love he came up with Foon, calling Sporky a Foon. I think that's hysterical. Anyway, so
basically what I love about this short that makes it one of the better Forky shorts is that we kind of put all the Forky shorts into canon here, where it's come on, Forky, you've been running around the room all day asking all these stupid questions and bothering everyone. And it's just, I love how that just kind of like ties together the whole series, Dragon. Where of course, we've gotten a bunch of the the buy boo moments.
Mm-hmm. We don't get one here, but we make up for it quite in a great deal. Basically, we have multiple episodes, and I love the subversion of the title. Like, it's such a clever subversion. A very simple topic: what is cheese? But Buttercup's approach is awesome, and him calling him out on all these questions, and then speed teaching him just to get it all over with. Here, where we have he teaches him the alphabet. There's the alphabet. That's a bed. That's a desk. Rock and roll's the best music. We had a president. His name was Lincoln. With their 8 planets plus or minus Pluto. 8 planets plus or minus Pluto is hysterical.
And essentially what happens, Dragon, is it goes into kind of like a math magic land kind of approach.
It escalates and it escalates. We go to galaxies, to dark matter. This is like the Flash territory, literally. We talk about dark matter, we talk about parallel universes, then string theory, and then
Dragon, you know what this all means for the Toy Story universe? I mean, my God, take notes.
Right, then of course the great gag at the end here is so Buttercup Forky is still asking.
Forky's just like, wow, that's really interesting.
I love the animation.
Just have one question.
I love the animation of Buttercup here. Don't say it.
Don't say it.
What is cheese? Which then leads to, okay, Forky, let me ask you a question. What, smart guy? What is economics? And then we basically Forky's blows his mind.
What is modern economics, Dragon?
What is modern economics? And then Forky's, well, do you mean Keynesian economics? Just goes all.
Which is again another running gag is that Forky is probably the most smart toy in Bonnie's room at this point because of how much he's picked up on human culture.
Which is just hysterical. And at the end, of course, Buttercup gets the last laugh by showing him what cheese is by just dumping a giant block of cheese on his head. Oh, that's cheese. So that brings us to the last.
I mean,
episode.
I would wager to say the cheese one is probably easily at least in the top 3, right?
Oh, easily. Honestly, it's probably my. I mean, I still love the. I love the second one they did about what is a friend, which we have he basically he makes an inanimate object his new friend, which is hysterical. He makes what? No, remember what? No, where it's basically Bonnie's mom has a mug in which basically when she watches her Downton Abbeys and everything, she watches.
And of course, I am I'm partial towards what is a computer
That's of course, because shawl.
because yes, of
Shawl
course.
factor. You gotta get your nice shawl in there. Okay.
All right.
But yeah, but anyway, so then we go to the last one, which it does have some final touches at the very end. But let's be honest, and here there is kind of a progression where Forky knows something in this one, so there is kind of a progression, but still, how do you top what is cheese? I mean, come on. All right,
Yeah,
so what
at the
is
very
Reed?
least, we get a really good Baibu moment.
We do. That we do. So first of all, there are a number of returns in this one. So first of all, the return of the peas in a pod. Well, I believe
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think they were. I think they might have like a dialogue less cameo in Toy Story 4, very brief, if at any. But I love the peas in a pod, man. I love the way they're designed. I love the way the toy works. I love it, and I love seeing these guys come back again. I love the dynamic. They have an adorable dynamic, Forky and the peas in a pod, and it's really cute. But the epic return that we really got to talk about, though.
Oh God.
Mr. Spell comes back.
Yep.
Does it make any sense? We don't care. It's Mr.
We
Spell.
don't care.
I haven't seen Mr. Spell since Toy Story 2 during the big license plate reveal. Man, it's been a while.
Yeah, this is great. This is great. And of course, Mr. Spell has kind of an existential crisis of his own, Dragon.
That he does. So we, so basically, we see how far Forky's come along. Having beat the peas to the punch here, having actually learned how to read. That
Oh
Mr.
God.
Spell has taught Forky how to read. And basically, we have like an analysis of humor here, and this is really what the Baibu theme playing about, like playing a practical joke on your friends. Which then just kind of devolves into an awesome dance bar between Forky and Mr. Spell, which is quite
because why not?
and again, it's quite jaunty and fun, and it's like wave the pipe cleaners in the air. It's kind of crazy. It's fun. Then at the very end, we have Forky but basically, Mr. Spell questions Forky about who is he talking to. We have this fourth wall address, which is quite funny. Like, I don't, but again, he says, I don't know, much like the intro of the series. I don't know, just like
I don't know.
very directly saying, I don't know. Oh God, it's just
right.
quite funny.
So just addressing a couple comments here, Inhuman Quake is asking about a Mickey Mouse documentary. Dragon, do you know anything about that? If that's been confirmed or not? Or
I mean, I thought I gotta be honest. I don't know specifics. I remember there was like a number of documentaries kind of floated out there with Disney Plus, and of course the iWorks thing we've seen. They're doing something on. I think they're doing something on iWorks, which I don't know if Leslie's doing that one or not. But I assume she has given the namesake. But the point being, they're doing something on iWorks. I don't know if that's the Mickey Mouse documentary or not, because obviously you had to kind of have a hand in that. But I don't know. Maybe that's it. But if not, there might be an extra like documentary on Mickey Mouse. But again, it's been 90. And Mickey Mouse, of course, is 90 years now. It's kind of a big deal. So I would imagine they would do something on that. So I don't know.
All right. Claude Coringa says Tony Hale's performance. I can see him voicing. Let's see.
Emmy Eagle.
Oh, an evil scientist in Gyro's rival. If they were to use him in DuckTales. Yeah, I could see him as Gyro's rival. Yeah, for sure.
Right now,
for sure.
Tony Hale's been really funny on the Harley Quinn animated show on DC Universe.
Really?
He plays Dr. Psycho, and he's just this wonderfully kind of he's a short, foul-mouthed character. He's a Wonder Woman bad guy who basically has a. I can't. It's just so fun. Tiki, and you really have to watch that Harley Quinn show.
All right.
They got a really great cast. Like John Carlos Esposito's on it. It's like the whole. It's Point being, Tony Hale's really funny on that. Anyway.
Also, Claude, I do really like Toy Story 4 a lot. It's like almost a perfect epilogue to Toy Story 3. I do agree with you, though. One of my complaints is that some characters were underused. I hear you on that. All right, so Dragon, let's get into the last one, which is, it kind of bugs me that these are so sporadic. But, alas, we do have a new Pixar in real life. And this one is a lot of fun. I do think this is probably the most elaborate one yet, don't you?
Yeah, so this is the best one they've done so far.
Yeah,
I will say it still bothers me that basically they ripped off like this thing. Apparently, Disney Online on like the whole "Oh My Disney" thing they have on YouTube. I guess there is like a series of shorts because Disney in real life, where basically they pull similar pranks, and basically they kind of lampooned it for Disney Plus with Pixar, which obviously has my attention a little bit more. But it's just the fact that they're they're just gonna make them so sporadic when they pop up, and yet you have like the whole like the originals are all online where you can watch them.
Right,
But they're not Pixar though. That's the thing. So they'll just keep you on the hook for like just you're gonna see Wall-E. You're gonna see him. Just wait.
Oh God.
No, but seriously, I've been very eager to see these, and I love this Wall-E one. Where basically
There
they
is
just
one
get.
coming in February, Dragon, and I think you're going to be excited about what it is. Would you
I
like
think
me to tell you?
it's a Russell, isn't it?
No, it's one that's very close to your heart, Dragon.
Well, I mean, be Toy
Can I
Story.
tell you? I'm excited to tell you.
Tell me, what is it?
All right, it's the Toy Story 2 cones. Yep. So I think that's going to be the best one yet because you can do so much with that.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
And I know you, man. That's your bread and butter when it comes
It
to
is.
Pixar.
That was my. I know it was in November. It was like my blockbuster, man. It was the original blockbuster.
All right.
Anyway, so when Human Quake adds to says Harley Quinn animated is the best. I die laughing. Words to live by.
All right, you know what? If anything, I'll watch it on, the website that one guy wants me to give the name of, but I'm not going to for
I
legal
could drag you
reasons.
through the mud right now over things, but I won't because we're going to talk about the Wall-E Wall-E thing right now.
Right,
So
fair
Wall-E
enough.
Lost and Found, where basically we have this awesome experience. Where basically, we have this lady who's a plant who basically she's lost her wedding ring in the trash, and she's asking some people like, I'm going to get my gloves so I can dig and find my wedding ring. Can you guys just watch the trash here so the trash, basically the trash man doesn't come? Just you watch for like a minute while I go to my apartment. Of course, they watch it, and of course, out of this giant cardboard box emerges Wall-E, and he's just as fully realized as you can imagine. And he looks great.
But you know what I love about this though is that they basically turn Wall-E into an obstacle. It's not just like, oh look, it's Wall-E on the street. It's like, no, like Wall-E is after something that you're tasked with protecting. And that's what makes this fun, Dragon. That's the stroke that really kind of like elevates this. I think the fact that Wall-E is kind of like the thing that you're trying to like fight against almost. It's such a nice.
I love the interactions. Everyone just has such a swell of love for Wall-E, and you just have like I love it when they have like, the nursing students you're walking by in their scrubs, and you have like this one nice little nurse who's just like, "Oh, thank you, I love you, Wall-E." As he goes off, it's so freaking adorable. It is, and they have like this lady who's like loves Wall-E, and she's just shell shocked by him as he hands her the wedding. It's like the wedding ring to give to the lady. Of course, the lady comes back who's in on. You give her the ring and you say, "Oh, Wall-E fan of Wall-E." When she looks around like he's not there, it's like he's like the Batman showing up. He's gone now. A Bigfoot sighting almost.
Fun.
Yeah, so quite fun.
Clark Ringa is reminding us that Star Wars Clone Wars Season 7 comes out February 17th.
I'm on it, man. I'm on it. I'm working.
That is definitely a big drop. I would say that's definitely the biggest drop on Disney Plus since Mando.
Oh yeah.
All right. I'm sorry, Dragon. I kind of cut you off there. Anything else about the Wall-E thing?
No. Just it was quite enjoyable. It's very good.
Okay. So final thoughts on everything, Dragon. It's I think Pixar has been coming out with some quality stuff, especially Lamp Life and Loop. I will say folks, I just uploaded the podcast a couple days ago. Check out the short circuits. All right. I'm just like I just want to implore you guys because the short circuits, I think, are honestly, I like them a little bit more than the Spark shorts, just because I feel like they have more of a Fantasia quality to them. They kind of have their own sort of feel and vibe, and they're very artistic and they're very musically driven, and they're thought provoking, but I don't think they're as challenging as the Spark shorts are. There's nothing in them that's going to like really make you uncomfortable like the Spark shorts might kind of aim to do, in a good way with the Spark shorts, of course. But I feel like the short circuits are, I don't know, man. I'm beaming about the short circuits, Dragon. I really am. So I want to encourage people to watch them.
All right.
Marvel. Oh, Inhuman Quake. Thoughts on
Well,
Dragon?
Human
Would you like
Quake.
to read? Yeah, we already talked about that, but just to give a recap, Dragon, really quick.
In Human Quake, basically, I'm beaming over him, man. I was blown away by him, specifically
We're geeking out
WandaVision.
over how high concept WandaVision looks, and we're
The
geeking out
cinematic
over
how
how
Winter
much.
Soldier looks.
Yeah, exactly. And then Loki, it's like Loki's kind of a question mark right now. It's like, oh, look at me, I'm
Well, there was
Loki. I'm gonna be back in this too.
there was a big tease with Loki though. There was a logo
Is
on his
there?
shirt that meant something. Basically, it meant
Uh
I forget what the abbreviation is, but essentially it means like he's messing with time.
Well, no offense, Dragon, but I feel like we could have already guessed that.
No, I mean it was like
I
specific,
mean,
like
given.
he's. I don't want to bore you with all the all
All
the
right, all
monotonous.
right, all right.
I'm
Anyways,
just saying the
Claude just asked
shorthand
an
is
important question, so
the important is like visually he's going to be involved, like kind of a name thing from the comics that's like a bureau that looks over, like people are going to be going after him in the series. It looks like that's the important takeaway. Which in Human Quake says Kang. Maybe I don't think we have the budget for Kang in this show, but we'll see. We'll see.
okay, so Claude, I'm sorry I have not gotten around to Owl House yet. Like I'm really busy working 5 days a week at work, and then when I'm not working, I'm broadcasting. Plus, I joined an armchair Imagineering competition on WDW Magic, but I need to get around to it, bro. I know I do. Yeah, you've definitely requested it, and it does look good. I've been hearing the hype, so trust me, we will get to it. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So I hear you on that, man. I definitely want to jump into it when I can. All right. Anything else?
No, we're all good.
All right. Well, hey guys, you guys were great in the comments. Big shout out to Inhuman Quake and Claude Karinga. And let's see, Marcelo. I don't know you, and you seem a little, a little sketchy. But hey, welcome. If you're legitimately just like trying to listen in for a good conversation, and you're not just trying to get into our Disney Plus accounts, welcome.
No, but
Anyways, what?
I'm sorry, just real quick. Inhuman Quake says TVA. That's the symbol on the shirt. He says it does have big ties to Kang, which is interesting. Which, given that, one last I'll put up here with him. We'll add here is that.
Uh-huh.
So again, many people speculate that Kang was going to be like was going to be the next big villain in the MCU, which basically going into Endgame, which of course had a big time basis with Act 2. A lot of people thought Kang was going to have a role, which he didn't. But again, looking for the next villain, and given Feige's been really touting off that these shows are going to have something to do with the movies in a big way, especially WandaVision with Doctor Strange, as I'd imagine. Kang is entirely possible. We could be setting up the next big bad within that Loki series if TVA is in fact tied to Kang, as traditionally it is, which as it says here, which could be very interesting. Okay.
All right, we'll see. Well, guys, like I said, thank you so much for joining us. And that'll do it for us this time around as we holster our remotes till the next installment calls for the draw. Mano y mano, just plus and us.
The plus.
The plus. I don't know.
What is cheese?